Thomas J. Bellezza, and this is the right mindset. Now, today we are going to go over some educational craft elements. I'm going to teach you some craft. I'm going to teach you something about writing. That's because every Saturday and Sunday we do live videos. Saturdays are always educational, with a little bit of business, and of course, Sundays are the Write With Me series, concept to conception. We are flying through that book. That's all I'm saying to you. Anyway, welcome to the show. Like I said, today is going to be all about us having a little bit of fun. It is character positions and challenging them. So we're going to go over what positions are for a character, and then we're going to go over how to challenge them. And then maybe we'll give a little bit of a lesson. We'll give a little bit of examples. But more importantly, are you happy with life? That's really what the question is. If you don't know, where do you start developing a character? That is today's poll. Feel free to answer the poll. We will talk about it later today after our hour. We try to do an hour of education. Then I give the floor to everyone where you could ask questions, etc., etc. But we will go over the poll. So where do you start developing a character? Their past, their personality, their appearance, their character arcs. And today is directly associated with that poll, so maybe we'll learn something while I do over this, and then maybe we'll talk about it during the poll. All right, let's get into it. Again, if you have questions during the lesson, the live, feel free to ask. If you have lessons that have nothing, questions that have nothing to do with today's video, still feel free to ask, because really, that's the whole magic of everything, you know. Let's get into it. Make a right left here. I'm just adding something. Okay. All right. Let's go into it. Oh, we got some comments. What's up, flowers? Welcome to the show. Boom. Here we go. All right. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to get started. Today we are talking about, just in case you missed the beginning, I know I ramble. Wait, that's the pulse. Remember, this is about character positions and challenging them. So let's really get into it. Hello. Hey, a new prayer. Hello, Ashley. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi amo Thomas. Or io sono Tommaso. All right. Welcome. So, character positions and challenging them. First, we need to know what is a character's position. Now, if you've watched my channel often, either from the pre-records or the live, you know that I talk about position all the time. Position is literally the thing that drives your character. So let's really get into it. What is a position? Boop, 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 boop. All right. It's their belief or stance on something. Okay, so that's the first thing. Well, actually, let's just boop. Let's just get them all in there. Boop. Okay. So the first thing we need to know is that it is, boop. There we go. It's their belief or stance on something. Okay. So this could be as simple as I like the Jets, to as complicated as, I'm afraid of death, or I believe in marriage, but they have to convert to my faith, right? Those are beliefs and stances. And why are those important? We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but ultimately, just in case you have to go somewhere, you want to know what their positions are on those things so you can challenge them through the narrative, because that is what drives narrative and engagement. The next thing you have to know is that a position is, in a narrative, this position is challenged. So if you have a position, you know you can challenge it. Therefore, you know you will have engagement. So if you don't know what their positions are on things, then they'll just sort of be going through your narrative. They're not going to be having any pushback. There's not going to be any challenging of anything. And they're sort of just going to be moving around like chess pieces. I'm sure you've heard that term. Don't allow your characters to be chess pieces. And the reason is because it gets pretty boring. If characters aren't able to make real choices, but instead their characters are being moved around because the narrative needs to happen, it becomes boring, and we don't really get to learn who a character is. There isn't real development of those characters. And as we all know, character development is why we read stories, right? Okay. And then you might be saying, but Thomas, that isn't why I read stories. I read stories for the relationships. Well, relationships are intuitive to the development of characters. So it's how they develop said relationship. It's how those relationships work. Best friends, really good relationships, mother-daughter, mother-son, mother-father, all that, okay? All that is actual character development. The more we learn about a character, the more we see them stand by what they believe or change their beliefs or how they react or behave. All that is character development. It allows us to understand who they are. Know that characters will change completely, somewhat, or not at all. So at any given point within your narrative, from page 1 all the way to the last page, you will challenge their positions, and they will either change completely, somewhat, or not at all. If they don't change, they will double down. All right? So if you're like, the earth is flat, and they're like, you're like, no, it isn't. And they're like, yes, it is. They'll start coming up with different variations on why the earth is flat. They'll just double down on it. They don't care. They can't be wrong. They believe what they believe, and that's it. And by the way, just for the record, you can have a character take a stance and other people challenge that stance, and their challenge is actually wrong, and the protagonist who believes that stance is accurate. So if they double down, it's just that they're standing by their position. For example, if they say they love the color red because to them, red is the best color, and someone says, no, blue is the best color, they're obviously going to double down because they do believe, indeed, that red is the best color. Okay, remember, it doesn't always have to be negative. It could be positive. So that brings us to this. Well, not this, but just so you know, like if you're challenging something, it doesn't always have to be a negative challenge. It could be a positive challenge, all right? Anyway, if they do change completely, it's not that they now believe said position, though they could. It's that they have a new position that has taken over their old one. So if someone says, the Jets are the worst team in the world, and then they're around friends and family who are all Jets fans, and slowly but surely they're like, you know what, Jets are good. I like the Jets. You know, I used to think they weren't good at all, but now I like the Jets. But it doesn't mean that I think they're the greatest team ever. It's just that old position has changed. It is no longer existent. I now have a new position within its purpose. All right, so now that we understand what positions are, if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask in the comments. But we're going to move on to what does challenging a position mean. All right, so let's fill this up. Look at that. I got a whole list. All right, boop. Okay. So the first one is, if you're going to challenge a position, narratives are driven by conflict and tension. So if you ever wonder why something is engaging, why you're like, this is a great narrative, it's tension and conflict. Game of Thrones became Game of Thrones because there's political conflict and political tension. Who will rise to the throne, right? Who's trying to blackmail who, right? If you're watching a movie or reading a book and there is no conflict or no real tension, or here's an example, if you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the big complaints is that they're both basically immortal. They can't die. Literally, they can't die. Right? So there's no tension because there's no way they can lose. So what is the real conflict that you give those characters? Those characters need internal conflict. That's why Wolverine has his story. I'm not going to give away that just in case you haven't seen the movie. And Deadpool has his story. So even though a character like, say, Superman in the comic books, or if you're writing a novel, whatever the case is, if you have a character that's basically a godlike character, you still need conflict and tension. So it's going to most likely be internal, or it's going to be an external threat to the things they care about. But we cannot challenge anything to create conflict and tension if we don't know what their positions are. For example, let's say you were writing a novel and you have like a Superman character, a godlike character, all right? And they do not love anybody. They have no connection to anybody. And another character comes down, a creature, and says, I'm going to kill everybody in the world. And that character's like, well, you can't kill me, so have at it. Enjoy yourself. No conflict, no tension. Okay? So that's why they make characters like Superman like beholden to the human race, and they love the human race, and they would do whatever they can to save every single life form, right? Because that creates the conflict and tension. So without position, you can't challenge, which means you can't have conflict tension. But to challenge position, narratives are driven by conflict and tension. Oh, what do you got here? One Punch. Yeah, Afghani. One Punch Man is a great example of basic. But he's also like he's a novelty character. He's like he's a spoof, like a toon. You know, he has that power where he could just accomplish anything. Excellent cartoon. Excellent comic book. Hi, I had a bad day yesterday due to a personal issue that I have for a long time. My mother's grandmother is upset about it. So is her daughter. But now my mother told me in a text yesterday that if I don't fix my issue, I might not be living with her anymore. Hannah, that's terrible that that's happening to you. You know, obviously my heart goes out to you, and I know it's always difficult to dealing with friends and family, especially living situations. But just so you know, I'm completely happy with you sharing and feeling comfortable to share with the community and us. But just know when you write in the comments, it's not a private message. You probably already know that it's not a private message. But if it's stuff that you don't want people to know, especially because these videos stay up and people could look at these things, just know that if you are going to talk about personal stuff and you want to have a conversation with me, it might be best to do it privately, just because I know that is pretty personal. But again, my heart is with you, and I'm humbled and honored that you feel comfortable with this community, because I am trying to make it a very inclusive community, a community where we can have openness like that. Just know I'm just trying to, because I know some people, they forget that the comments stay up there forever, and that the world could see. All right, with that, what does challenge a position? Let's get back to it. So that conflict and tension can be positive. You can challenge positions positively, okay? You might be saying, but Thomas, how can you do that? Well, a conflict could just be, hey, you got a promotion at a job, and now the conflict is, oh, I've never had this position. I've never done this position. So now the conflict and tension is, will I be able to do the thing that I was given a bonus, I was given a plus, I was given a rise in the company, and that's still a positive conflict tension. It's just, am I going to be able to do this, right? With that said, it is because of conflict and tension and challenging those positions, engagement comes from characters reacting to conflict and tension. Again, engagement comes from characters reacting to conflict and tension, which means that conflict and tension happens when you place characters in situations where they must make choices. Okay? So again, narratives are driven by conflict and tension. Engagement comes from characters reacting to said conflict and tension, and as conflict and tension happens when you place characters in situations where they must make choices. And the reason we do that is because those choices are made based on their position. So again, if we use a simple position as somebody saying, I like the Jets, and somebody says, well, the Jets are the worst team ever. Depending on their belief that they hold in that position that the Jets are the best, they will react accordingly. So if they are die hard, paint your face, go to every game, have season tickets that have been passed down from generation to generation to see the Jets, they're probably going to stand up for that, most likely get physical, and definitely yell at the person and fight for the argument. Now, if they love the Jets because their father or mother or family love the Jets, but they're not necessarily diehard football fans, and they don't really care, like if you don't like the Jets, and someone says, the Jets suck, you'll probably either ignore them or just be like, hey, we all like our teams, right? I don't own the Jets. I don't make money on the Jets. I just like spending time with my family. Positions create behavior. So if you challenge those positions, therefore behavior happens. That creates the engagement because it is reaction. All right. Now, with that said, let's talk about the final thing. Challenging their positions create conflict to make a choice that could potentially change their positions, though challenges can be easy with little to no conflict based on them agreeing with a position. For example, pizza is a tasty vegetable. True. All right. Obviously, it's not a vegetable. But pizza is. I will eat pizza to the day I die. But the point is, you need to challenge a position to create conflict so they can make a choice depending on their position to see if they change completely, somewhat, or not at all and double down. All right. If there's any questions on what I just went over, from what is a character's position to what does challenging a position mean, please, for the love of God, feel free to ask questions. There's no judgment if you don't know anything, if I didn't miss something, if you want me to go deeper into any of those points. That's why I'm here. Saturday and Sunday is for you guys. So I'm here to teach, educate. I'm here to elevate. All right, so let's go into some examples, okay? So here's some examples. The first one being the Jets, because we always talk about that. I like the Jets is an example of a position, just as much as I'm afraid of death is a position. So how is I'm afraid of death a position that can be challenged? Well, maybe their behavior is, if the risk to fun ratio is too high, I will not do said thing. For example, I don't go skydiving because, the ground hurts. And if my parachute doesn't go off, I will die. That doesn't mean I'm necessarily afraid of death, but I am afraid of hitting the ground. I'm also afraid of hitting the ground and surviving and having to live with being the person that hit the ground and I can't walk and move. So I'm more afraid of the complications of hitting the ground. However, let's say in a narrative, there was a character that was afraid of death because they don't want to leave their family alone without them. So the mother or father doesn't want to die, so now they won't risk certain things, okay? Maybe they will risk certain things to keep from dying, because now the risk is so high, but if they don't try, they can't bring down that risk percentage. So for example, let's go with something really outrageous, like a dragon shows up, okay? And a character is afraid to die, okay? But they know if they stay there in the village while the village is being burnt up, that they will die. So they would rather risk dying to escape than risk knowing they're going to die in the village. So behavior is created by positions. This one I don't agree with, but ice cream is only good with raisins. That is a position. Okay, so far we learned positions can be something that we support. Positions can be something that's an internal truth that maybe could be connected to other things as well externally. In this case, it could be just, I don't want to die, I'm afraid of dying. Or it could be connected to, if I die, then XYZ happens. I can't be there for my family. I can't, I'm working on a cure for cancer. So if I die, then no one will be able to continue my work, right? So I'm afraid of death can be connected to externals, but it is an internal position. Ice cream is only good with raisins. This is subjective. Okay. Another position is somebody that says they want to get married. This, like if you're writing a romance, this would influence their behavior, right? So if a character is in the book dating some people, and one of their questions that they ask is always like, I know this is a first date, I know we're getting coffee, but I just want you to know, like, I'm okay with having fun, even if we're just sort of like friends, but I can't put all in if you don't have a future where you see yourself getting married and having kids one day. That position, maybe they've been on so many bad dates and they have not seen themselves leading to marriage that they're just like, let's just get it on the table. Is marriage something you believe in? If not, we could just be friends, we could just hang out, but I just want you to know I am looking for somebody that that believes in marriage. That creates behavioral changes, but if you're writing a narrative, you can challenge that. So, by the way, I'm not saying guy or girl. I'm just saying a character, right? So let's say a character is on the same date. They're having the coffee with the person, and they say, hey, I believe in marriage. I've been on a few bad dates. I'm getting to the point where, I really want to have a marriage and children. I want to have that life. So that they set that position just like before. But they do still add but we can hang out and have fun. While they're hanging out and having fun, a couple things could happen. A, the other character could end up going, you know what? I never really thought marriage or children were in my future, but being with you makes me see that differently. So that actually changes the other person's position. But let's go a little further. The character who believes in marriage says, we could have fun, but I am still looking for somebody who wants marriage. Well, they're hanging out with the character that doesn't want marriage. They start realizing it's not about marriage and kids. It's about this connection. It's about what we're experiencing. It's about this life. And that could change their position. So their behavior goes from being more like, I'm not interested, to being more involved. Okay? So having positions gives you a chance, okay, to then challenge those positions. And it allows for movement not only in the narrative, but in the character's development and who the character is. All right? And then you have people, we just talked about, I don't want to get married, right? All right. I'll fight in a war, but I won't kill. Okay? So there's a movie that came out a while ago with Mel Gibson was director, and Andrew Garfield was in it. Something Ridge, some Ridge, Hacksaw Ridge or something, I think. I could be wrong on that, but definitely Mel Gibson was the director, and Andrew Garfield was the main actor. And he had like a religious belief, and he went to war, and all he wanted to do was help people. He's like, I don't need a gun, I need to shoot people. I just want to say, so if people get hurt, I'm going to help them. I'm just going to pull them out of danger. So that would be I'll fight in a war, but I won't kill position. But throughout the entire narrative, you can challenge that. Are they put into a position where they have to kill, or where they stand by their conviction and they get wounded, hurt, or taken prisoner? Okay? Maybe they double down, okay, like he does in that movie, and you realize I would rather die convicted to my beliefs than basically submit to my fear or my whatever they believe in, okay? But it creates the conflict, it creates a tension, it creates something interesting. Oh yeah, needed that water. Woo! That's the conflict in Avatar. Avatar. Are you talking about? Oh no, that's Airbender. Avatar. You're talking about the movie by what's his name? The guy who did Terminator and Titanic. James Cameron. You're talking about that Avatar? Is that? No, that's not the conflict in. No, that guy's like a Marine. Isn't the main character a Marine, and like he loses his use of his legs, so then he is transferred into the alien bodies. Oh, the last Airbender. Okay, well, yeah, he's isn't he like a pacifist or something? I refuse to do violence. Okay. Another position could be, their dynamics, their philosophy on things. A relationship is XYZ to me. So, I'm sure somebody out there watching has met somebody and they said, hey, I would like to be in a relationship with you. Then it came to the next question, which is, would you like to be my boyfriend or girlfriend? And then there wasn't really a detailed conversation that explored what that means, right? Fear of abandonment. Shifty eyes from Cal. Always fear of abandonment. Spoilers, he finds a way to defeat him without killing him every single time. You're talking about Avatar again. So, for example, if we're talking about the philosophy of a position, okay, a relationship is XYZ to me. Like I was saying, two people get in a relationship. They finally say, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend or girlfriend? They commit to the relationship, but they never have a deeper conversation of what that means. What is a committed relationship with you? So now, character A has a position of a relationship is XYZ to me, and character B has a position of what a relationship is XYZ. So that creates conflict and tension when we start realizing they don't have the same position on relationships. One might say, I need to be able to look at everything in your phone at all times. I don't want you to, so I know you're not keeping secrets from me. The other one might have the position of, well, if you, no, I need my private, I need to feel like I have privacy, that I have stuff that is for me. What if there's information in the phone that is important to me? Like I keep notes in there, or diaries, or like my inner thoughts, or, stuff that I'm working through emotionally. Well, I don't care. I can't be in a you said you wanted to be in a committed relationship with me, and that's what I need. And I didn't know that was right. See, because we don't always have agreements on relationships when it comes to XYZ. All right. Other things that are possible with that scenario is, Maybe before they commit to boyfriend-girlfriend status or title, beforehand they were dating and there was different rules, right? But one character just thinks dating is a commitment, which means it's the same as marriage to them. Whereas the other person might believe that dating is sort of, well, it's too casual. That means I could see other people. Oh, now we're in a relationship, but we're not married, so I'm still not, right? So though that's how you create conflict and tension, you define what relationships mean to them. You could even do that with non-romantic relationships. A relationship of friendship, a best friendship is XYZ to me. What defines best friendship to a character might not be the same thing, more than likely is not the same thing to another character. And then you could have conflict and tension with that. Taxi! I'm walking here! Taxi, 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 taxi? Taxi driver? Oh, taxi. Oh, because you want to get away from that relationship? That's why I'm assuming. All right. Another example of position a character can have. Again, by the way, some of these are internal, some of these are external, some of these are subjective opinions on things like, for example, the color red is the greatest color, just like I like the Jets is an emotional connection, but ice cream is only good with raisins is an opinion, right? So, but it's a subjective opinion. But I want to get married is a motivation. Okay, so positions can really control or at least dictate and help mold your character's behavior. But also, I believe lying is XYZ. Now, for me, if I was to give a little sneak behind the curtain, to me, I don't believe white lies are lying. So I don't think you're a liar if someone says to you, hey, you hungry? Do you want to go get something to eat? But they just don't want to go out. They are hungry, but they don't want to leave. So they go, you know what? I'm not that hungry. If you want to go out, you go out. Right? That's not a lie to be malicious. So that means my belief in lying has to have malicious intent or the stance to deceive, to hurt or deceive, to mislead in a negative way. So, you know, again, if somebody's like, do I look fat in this dress? No, you look great. I don't think that is considered lying because sometimes the truth can make somebody hurt, and I don't think you should be trying to hurt people or make people upset. But, again, I also think if you lie, I have a stance on that, right? Like, I don't deal with liars. So there's a big difference. But that becomes a position. That creates conflict of interest, right? In my narrative, I actually have characters for the epic fantasy. There is there's these kind of group of Hamarans that are born, and they have a few powers. Each one has like few powers, this or that. You know, like it could be whatever it is, but it's always like something they could do with their mind. But they have to be honest. If they lie in any way, or even white lies, they can't lie. They can't deceive. They start losing their powers. They start losing their connection to the powers, the energy. So it's always interesting to play with that, you know, a position like that, okay? This is, we've talked about subjective. This is an objective truth that Chicago Deep Dish... oh, wait. Let me write that. I don't want to use the word pizza, but Chicago Deep Dish Pizza is a casserole. You can't... I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. So Chicago Deep Dish Pizza is a casserole. And that really, it's a hard truth. It's a hard truth you got to live with, everyone. Chicago's a deep dish. Anyway, but these kind of positions are what you should be thinking about when you come to your character. Now, do you need to have these positions before you write your narrative? Do you need to have these positions before you outline? The answer is no. You do not need to know this kind of stuff. In fact, we're not up to the poll yet. Well, we got 5 votes. If you haven't voted in the poll, please feel free to vote in the poll. We will be discussing it. Where do you start developing a character? We have their past, their personality, their appearance, and their character arcs. Keep in mind, you don't need any information on a character before you start other than a character arc, right? What is a character's arc? We'll get into that, of course, but their positions are things you can develop or start understanding, especially the nuance of, as you're writing your narrative, because characters will come to life as you start putting them into positions where they need to make choices based on their internal positions on those things. So real great writing does come from creating those conflict and tensions, but whenever you put a character in a scene or a moment, sit down. Could you please sit down is a choice. Does the character sit down or do they not sit down? What is their position on that? Wait, who is asking them to sit down? What is their relationship with that person? Is that person a boss? Is that person somebody that did lie to them and they have a position that you can't lie to me, so I don't trust you? So maybe they don't sit down because of, you see what I'm doing? So you can start creating and designing your character through scenes by learning who they are. But once you start creating positions, it's important to stand by those positions. However, you can challenge a position and have them change over the course of the book. And this also creates dynamic, this creates engagement, and this creates change or a development of a character. So for example, in that, what I just said, where the character doesn't want to sit down because the other character lied to them and they hold a stance of they don't like liars and they're like, I refuse to sit. Slowly but surely that relationship heals. They never thought they would ever trust them again, and they end up trusting the person. And in fact, they end up trusting him, and that relationship of builded trust again ends up paying off as the character comes through and does something that really helps elevate the character that originally was like, I don't trust you. So there we go. Any questions on those three things? We have one is a character's position, which also, by the way, just the belief. But I say position because it could be a variation of the things that we talked about. It could be it could be like an emotional connection to something. It could be their philosophical approach on this. It could be their what they believe in a culture, whatever the case is. Okay. Do you have any questions about what does challenging a position mean? And of course, examples of position characters can have. Now, we just talked about challenging a position, but let's talk about this, okay? I didn't write anything down because I sort of wanted to riff off of this, okay? But challenging a position, okay? Anytime. Let's do this. Boop. How do you challenge positions, all right? Actually, let's give it to the audience. We got a good amount of people. We got 6 people in the room. Let's give it to the floor. Let me hear some examples of ways to challenge a position. Okay? Now, you don't even need to know what a position is. Just how do you challenge a position? I'll give you the first answer to give you an understanding of what we're talking about. Choice. An example of challenging a position is choice. If a character comes in and the situation is, do you want this or that? Okay? Actually, I should do it like this. Do you want this or that? That's a choice. Another choice is, do we go left or right? These are choices. They have to have a position on something. So do you want this or that is based on what they like most or least. Okay? Do we go left or right? That could actually be based on intuition. So do they trust their intuition or don't trust their intuition? Do they have a stance where it's like, look, if you're ever lost, always go left, right? That's a position, right? And you can make it up. It doesn't have to be as detailed as Chicago deep dish pizza is a casserole. It could be more, philosophical, metaphysical. Hey, whenever someone asks you what number do you pick, always say 6, right? Or use the holy number 9, right? Whatever the case is, it could be as abstract as there. Through the actions of another character. I love it, Flowers. Yes, yes. Through the actions of another character. So, we are challenging him. So, character is, let's say, we could use lie. Okay, character lies. A character lies. All right. Let's get some more space in here so we could use. Okay. Another example would be through the. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this down so we have more room. Yeah. All right. Character lies. A character betrays. Okay. A character falls in love. Okay. Through the actions of. Okay. A character is late. Okay. These are really great. These are great. Through the consequences of that position. Oh, excellent, Afghani. Excellent. Let's put that down. Through the I love consequences. Remember, everybody, consequences could be good or bad of that position. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so if somebody believes in being, somebody believes help those less fortunate. Okay. But they end up helping and they lose the use of their legs. Okay? So they believe in, this is the position. Position. Okay? And then because they help somebody who is less fortunate, they end up lose the use of their leg. This would be the consequence challenges. Will they continue to help those less fortunate, or do they now believe they are less fortunate, changing their position completely and going, I'm one of the less fortunates. I need people to take help with me. So that's a really excellent Afghani. That was really good. Anyone else? Anyone else have an example of challenging a position? And Flowers, yours was very good too. I don't want you to think yours was excellent. Look how many ideas it got me to think about, right? Character lies, right? And character betrays, character falls in love, character is late. Character eats pizza with pineapple. Okay. Change my position on my respect. As a Sicilian, I can't stand for it. All right, so there are 8 people in the room. We just talked about, if you're new, if you just jumped in, we were just talking about what character positions are. We talked about what does challenging positions mean, examples of positions characters can have. But now I'm asking the audience if you have ideas. By the way, Afghani or Flowers, if you've already said something, feel free to give another answer. Oh, there we go. A real world event that challenges the position. Oh, okay. I'm gonna change the way you said that, but that's it's the same thing. But excellent. External events that challenge the position. Wonderful. Are you sure it's 8? By the way, hi Thomas. Hey Angel Fame. Well, now it says 7. Now it says 7 people are watching. But it was 8 a second ago. But now it's changed. Why? What's it say? What's the number on your guys? It says 7 are watching now on the stream, but I guess it could be wrong. Because on the StreamYard, it tells me everything. External events. Okay, so for example, position is I will defend Earth. Okay, but Will Smith joins the fight against aliens. All right. Excellent. All right, what we got here? The character does the action anyway because the fear of not doing it overrides their position. Have I made sense? Yes, Flowers. That's really, really good. That's an interesting way of putting it. We kind of talked about that earlier where the character was afraid of death, but they knew if they stayed in the village, the dragon would kill them, so it was worth the risk to escape to avoid the death of the dragon. So that is excellent. So you did make sense. It says, well, now it says 6 people were leaving. Like they don't want their position to be discovered. Oh, I like that. I'm going to actually write that one. That one's really good. Okay. Character doesn't want their true position to be discovered. So, if their position is they believe the government is destroyed in the kingdom of bleep, Right. But they act as if they believe in the government. Flowers, is that basically what you're talking about? Something like that? Something like that? Yeah. I hope so, because that's a really good thing. That's what I mean. I knew it. How about internal events? Internal events. Can you give me an example of an internal event you're talking about? Like, are you talking about like a crisis of what is it called? What is it? Existential crisis? Is it existential? Existential crisis. Right. I think that's what it's called, right? Existential crisis, right? A period of deep personal questioning about the meaning of life. Yeah, okay. Like this? Like an existential crisis? Because that would definitely change somebody's positions, because that would challenge their position. So something like that would definitely do it. Their position may prevent... Oh, that is what you meant. Excellent. Their position may prevent them from achieving their goals. Their position... Ooh! By the way, there's a virtue... I was just writing about this in my book for how to outline. That's a virtue, right? So... Oh, wrong person. That's a virtue. Yeah. Absolutely. Their position may prevent it from achieving their goals. Yeah. Their hard-held position, which means they don't change. Doubling down. That's a good one. Prevents them from achieving their goals. All right. To really go hard with that, you could be like, they are a devout green leaf trees worshiper, and refuse to cut down the trees. But if they don't cut down the trees, then they can't sell wood and save the village from collapse. That would be an example of that. All right. Their position may... past trauma affecting future behavior. That's really good. There you go. Past trauma affecting future behavior. I would say that the reason that works is because past trauma creates the position, and therefore it affects. So that would be, as we say, challenging a position. However, I would say past trauma affecting future behavior, being pushed back against that trauma to either overcome or not overcome. All right. Characters, thoughts, feelings, internal conflicts, and their overall. So now we're just sort of describe. That's a more of a. So what we're talking about, how do we challenge a position? So the thoughts, feelings, internal conflicts, and their overall psychological journey. Those are positions. So their thoughts on something is a position. Their feelings on something is a position. Their internal conflict towards something, that would be a challenge. We could put that one. Internal conflicts toward their position. Okay. And psychological journey. Oh, we could say that one too. That one's good too. Psychological journey. Just remember thoughts, feelings, basically anything they hold a belief on or, have an opinion on is a position. So that isn't challenging the position, but a psychological journey can challenge a position, and internal conflicts towards their position can challenge a position. Memory loss. That's all right. That's good. Ooh, yes. I've started on your book and the second one in the series of Nicole's. Excelente. The second one. Nice, nice, nice. Tell me, I like the second one. The second one's really good. Really good. And thank you so much for starting my book. I've been getting a lot of great feedback, and I hope it continues through you to give wonderful feedback. How about a secret identity or royalty? That's more of a... that's plot and not necessarily challenging a position. We'd... somebody's secret identity or the fact that they are royalty is not necessarily a challenge. However, maybe unless you're saying their secret identity is discovered, or I don't know. No, that sounds more plot. I'm trying to make sense of it as a challenge to positioning, because if the position is... the position would be why they have the secret identity. So how do we challenge that? So maybe it would be the regime they are spying on with their secret identity would be more... I spelled regime. Would be the challenge to that idea. Because the secret identity would be... because of their position of I'm going to help somebody spy on this, so I'm going to create a secret identity to XYZ, so you have to be able to challenge that. So secret identity royalty would be plot based or traits. They are forced to change their position. Oh. All right. They are forced to change their position. I would ask more importantly, how are they forced to change their position? But I do like forced to change. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Excelente. All right, so this was great. Look, we got the brain thinking. Let's see how many we got. How many did we do? Let's go up here. Let's do one of these. Let's do the numbers. Numbers. 13. Lucky 13. By the way, having a superstition, a belief that 13, which is also the letter M because it's the middle of the alphabet, okay, is a position. So if you believe the number 13 is bad luck or something like that, that is a position. 1984 style. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Yes, if you're talking about New York 1984, it's maybe we should wear a condom. That's really, we are being forced to change our position. Their position may come in conflict with another position. Oh, well, yes. Yeah, all right. That's fair. Their position may come in conflict with another position. That's probably the most, by the way, I'm not using the word basic in a negative way, but that is the most basic understanding of challenging a position, by the way. When two positions oppose one another. A really simple example of that is, I love the Jets, I hate the Jets. They are in opposition. That is, if you're ever like, how do I create conflict or tension in this scene? Just figure out a position one of the characters have, and then be like, you know what? This other character could just have the opposite position. And they Miyagi that stuff, warm their hands, and you make the scene have a little bit of tension. All right, there you go. There you go. There you go. I'm going to put this folder, this file into the folder that's, you could just click the link. Join the conversation. All right, okay. All right, let's look at the, by the way, if you have any questions on this, please let me know. And I just want you to know, that was some excellent, excellent answers everybody gave. I really appreciate the feedback. And I'm glad that we were able to figure out how to connect our positions to challenges that will allow characters to either change completely, somewhat, or not at all. Boom. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Where do you start developing a character? We still got time to vote. If anyone wants to pop a vote in real quick, where do you start developing character? We have their past. 0 people chose that so far. Their personality, 17%. Their appearance, 33%. Their character arcs, 50%. 50%. I like it. I like it. All right, we'll give it a minute or two, and then we'll stop the poll. But okay. I do like their past is at 0%. Interesting. Their personality, their appearance, and their character arcs. Where do you start developing a character? So it's interesting that some people chose their personality. Some people chose their appearance. But I love that 50% chose their character arcs. So I'm assuming 3 people chose their character arcs, 2 people chose their appearance, and 1 person chose their personality. Let's do it. Let's end the poll. Their character arcs is number 1. Excellent. Excellente. I love it. Now, when you're writing, if you are starting character development with the past, remember, you become beholden to those elements. You shouldn't have to feel that way, since obviously you could change it forever. You can always change it. They do it all the time. Even if you've ever watched the Indiana Jones series, the first movie, he is like, we must get these items into the museum. And the second one, he's like, the glory of money. So, obviously. But to be fair, the second movie is actually supposed to happen chronologically before the first one. So it's interesting. But their personality. Developing a character with their personality. Ooh, what do we got here? Lexi Price. I start by putting them in a situation and pay attention to what they tell me. That's right there. I love that. That's excellent. Excellent character development. That's a wonderful way to sort of like move around the characters. My only pushback on anything is always like, if you don't have a character arc, if you don't know what their basically what their goal is, like why is this narrative taking place, right? It's that part of it that really sets the foundation, and then doing exactly what Lexi Price says, you put them in situations to get through that goal to the goal and either accomplish it or fail. They're allowed to fail that goal. And it is through there that the character development does happen. So you need the character arc as a starting point, a foundation, and then that right there. Excellent. Start by putting them in a situation and pay attention to what they tell me. So what they tell me, and obviously I'm just I'm assuming that you're saying, are they making choices? What do they want to do? All right. So as your character, and I know it sounds weird, like some people like, your characters don't really talk to you, but they do. On the page, characters create behavior. It's what they're saying, how they're saying it, if they're talking or not talking, how they behave, do they do or not do something. All these things start dictating who a character is. Oh wow, this character, when I was writing their dialogue, came out with like a joke. Like I normally don't write jokes, but like they like whipped back. They had like a little witty comment. Oh wow, let me see how that feels moving forward. And then like, oh wow, that is the character. But that also dictates their appearance. So using this excellent, by the way, excellent. Using this, wherever you put them in a situation and they start making choices and they start kind of like showing you who they are. If you start with the character arc and then you start seeing their choices, move them around, that's going to dictate their appearance. Because what you might discover, okay, is if you start your character development with, they wear a trench coat, they have long black hair, they have gray eyes, and they have pale white skin, and they're wizards from the planet of blah, right? Now that's who they are, right? But if you start with character arcs and then develop them through their choices, you might realize, wait a minute, this isn't what they would wear. They could still be the tough character I picture. They could be stoic. They could be, right? So you can start designing who they are, their personalities, through the discovery of how they get through their arcs. So that's always something to think about. Excellent, excellent. Where do you go from here? All right, there you go. Any questions, any thoughts on that? I would love to hear your assessments. With that said, if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and anything else you'd like to do. Like, hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. Also, Blue Behold, the sword of Bloop Bloop, asks you to please bloop bloop the like button. If you haven't already done so, bloop the beard, bloop the like button. I'm just getting through my little something-somethings. Remember, I have a book available. Please go to makearightleft.here.com. You can find out where the book is, makearightleft.here.com. And, of course, I'm on chapter 22 of the 27 plot point outline. I am flying through this. I'm officially in the example chapters where I'm basically talking and laying out the purpose of things. Specifically, we are actually, coincidentally, I'm writing about character arcs in that right now. The Patreon, please feel free to go to makearightleft.here.com. You can find the Patreon link to Death of a King. This book is available through the Scribe tier. Okay, now, the benefit of it is also a teaching tier. So you're going to see the short form outline, the extended outline, the zero draft, the first draft, and the third draft of every chapter in the book, all the way to the very end. So every week, the whole week is dedicated to that chapter. So you'll get the short form, extended, zero, first, and third draft of that chapter. And then it also, just for the fun of it, there's commentary. So in the post itself, I talk about choices I made, things I feel about the chapters. I talk about how I adjusted things, whatever the case is. Then there's an educational element to it, only a couple of paragraphs per thing. And then there's questions you could ask yourself for your own work. And then, of course, assignments. So the assignments are how to approach your work with the lesson or discussion of what I basically wrote in that tier. I wrote chapter 1 of my life in the Fuck Groove Code Story. I'm doing for that contest. I actually had to split it apart because I was doing almost the 15 beats in the first. So now I have where each paragraph in there beat. Hey, Hannah Hart, as long as you're having fun, it sounds like you're getting a lot done and you're writing, and that's the whole point, Writing is an adventure and an exploration of learning what your voice is and what you're trying to tell. If what you're doing is you love doing it, but, I would recommend, finish the book and, maybe get a developmental editor to look at that. But at the end of the day, you're the writer. You get to choose what you want to do. It's on its way to my house. What's on the way to your house? The book? The book? Are you talking about Breaking Down Success? Or because I don't have a physical copy of what's that book called? The Death of a King. Oh, the mug. The mug. Oh, yes. The bloop bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm so happy you bought that mug. I love that you bought that mug. Next time, though, listen, Flowers. I love you. We're buddies, right? We're friends. Next time you're going to buy something from that store, let me know. I could give you the 10% discount code. I'm not going to make you pay full price. You're my homie. That hurt. I hit my chest. I'm in pain. I give you the hookup. You know that. I love you. You support me. I support you. You just reach out. You go. All right. Ye old Royal Mail have said it be true. What else? By the way, if anyone wants that's right. Behold the sword of Bloop Bloop. There's cups, there's sweaters, there's hoodies, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can just go to makearightleft.here.com and you could have fun and get yourself one of those cups. I just want you to know, I have my alpha readers reading this book right now, Legacy and Blood. And I just want you to know, this is the second book in the series. And I effing love this book. I don't know why. There's just something about it. It's probably because there are a couple characters that are in that book that come into that story that I'm very passionate about. Not that I'm not passionate about the characters in the first book, because I definitely am. Darian in the first book is probably my favorite. I love writing Darian. And of course, devious, and Aaliyah. But I'm not even going to say their names in the second book. There's some characters in the second book where you're going to be like, great title. Thank you, Lexi. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's I try to title my books like Death of the King. Not to spoil anything because it's the whole reason the series. But Death of the King, this book only exists because the death of a king. And then Legacy and Blood, what I like about it is the theme. The theme is all about the legacy of our bloodlines, but also what blood falls before us because of said bloodline. So I like doing that. I realized that this week when I had to reread a section of my whip and realize a moral boink. I really hope I said that. I'm terrible at reading names. Is fabulous and is really Slash. First of all, you had me at Slash in skeleton form. More or less not great. Would definitely get along with him. Well, that's interesting. Does that mean you're going back and you're gonna play with it? You're gonna be like, all right, I gotta change and add a little bit. I gotta do boop 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 boop. It took me a long time to find a name for my book. Did you write a whole bunch of names and then throw them into a hat and then take it out of the hat? Because that's how I do it. What is the name of your book again? I don't think I do. Did you tell us? If you have, please forgive me. My brain is scattered. What is it? She's got a smile that seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I probably break down and cry. All right. I was adding in something about him. A rattling. I love it. Does he play guitar in your book? Please tell me he plays the book. That's all I care about. Whoa, 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 small, sweet child of mine. Yeah. I wrote a whole lot of names, and eventually the perfect one came to me in a dream. The name is Revenant. Ooh. I'm assuming the story has to do with what Revenant is about. I'm excited. Afghani, when are we releasing this book so I can read it and support you? Do you have a website? What's going on? Put it in the comments. It's an anagram of someone's name. Oh, sexy. Crying. I'm always crying. Why are you crying? Let me cry. Oh, because I'm crying. Don't make me start singing Aerosmith. I haven't given him a guitar, but I might. Excellent. Give him a guitar. She's got eyes of the bluest skies, as if they thought of rain. I'd hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where as a child I lay and cry. Okay. I want to go back to I want to go back to it on October. I want to go back to it. Oh, like in October. Is that where we're going to get... Are you going back to work on it in October? Is that what you're saying? Please. You could always come to me. We could always work on it to get, if you need a development. I'm right here, Betty. I'm right here for you. I'll help you. All right. Revenant is a man who came back from death. From death. I'm in it. I love stories where characters come back from I'm not saying your story is like Crow, but like a Crow character, I like that. Or, whatever the case is, like a Frankenstein. I like when characters come back and they get to live again. They get to, Miles Kennedy sings it much better. Yeah, he does. What can I do? What can I do? I didn't warm up my voice today. I mean, compared to Axel. Oh, my bad. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Anyway, welcome. What's the welcome to the jungle? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want, honey. We know the names. We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got my money, honey, we got the disease. Yeah, it's a jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah, I got to go back to work on it on October right now, writing something else. I love it. See, that's something every writer should realize. When you finish your book, to give it some time to step away from it, definitely step away from it, especially if like it's a specific draft. It doesn't mean you have to stop writing. Start working on something else. And then when some time passes, get back to the book. Because you have the bias of knowing it so deeply and so intimately that it's good to take a time break from it. So when you go back and read it, you can take proper notes. You could see things you didn't necessarily see originally because you were so close to it. You were just sort of, your brain is connecting the dots. You got to remember that. Your brain connects to the stuff you know about it. I'm just saying. Oh, God. That was good. That was tasty. That was tasty. What else? Do we got other lyrics? What do we got? That's it. Wow, welcome to the jungle is the same lyrics over and over again. What's the deal? Welcome to the jungle, we take it day by day. If you want, you're gonna... What? If you want? Huh. That's the line? If you want, you're gonna bleed, but it's price to pay. If you want, you're gonna bleed, but it's the price to pay. That doesn't even sound like the line. And you're a very sexy girl and very hard to please. You can taste the bright lights, but you won't give that free in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. I can't hit those high notes. Anyway, what else? What else we got? Do we have anything else I got to talk about? I don't really got anything else. I don't got anything else. That's it. That's it. We had a lot of fun today. What else? What else? Yeah, I guess that's it. If anyone has any questions about, by the way, about the Patreon tier and like what you get, because I know, you just let me know. I'll tell you. No problem with that. I'm having fun. By the way, just for the record, the Patreon tier is already scheduled, so you will never miss a chapter. You will never miss a week. I made sure I finished everything before I launched it. That's why it took me a little bit to launch it. But also, if you do select the scribe tier, you will also get the first and second tier, which is known as Chapter 1, The Ordinary World, and Chapter 2, The Inciting Incident. So right now, Flowers actually has first and second tier, which is Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Flowers, are you enjoying those two tiers? Are you getting any value from those two tiers? You know, from the downloads, from the checklists, from the advice. Was it worth it? Were you like, this was... I'm so glad I joined the Patreon. All right. Other than that, what we got? Oh, let me, I gotta close this. Let me close this. Close! I'm gonna put the thing in the thing for everybody. I'm gonna put the thing in the... I'm gonna put the thing into the thing. All right, let's see. What is this? 09. Da-da-da-da-da-da. 09. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna take that. I'm placing today's information into the free folder for everybody. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just go into the link. There's a link in the description, and there's going to be a link in the comment section once the live ends. It's all downloadable. Let me see this. Writing exercises, writing checklists, write with me, outlining files. Let's just put it right here. This is writing exercises. By the way, there are writing exercises in the writing exercise folder. So if anyone wants to jump in that, feel free. So this will be positions and challenging them. Okay. All right. And then I just need... Oh, wait. Let's actually go here. Boop, 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 boop. What? Yeah, that's fine. All right. Positions. What do we got? Oh! I've watched this super creepy movie called Vivarium. Vivarium. What's that about? Vivarium. Let's see. Oh yeah, that movie is creepy. That's what what's his face? Jesse Eisenberg or something like that. I had to go and stick lids on the chili I batched cook. You backed some cookies? Where's my cookies? Stick Kermit T. Frog, yeah. Hey ho, I'm Kermit T. Frog coming to you live. Okay. I was obsessed with Kermit the Frog when I was younger, to the point where, by the way, I had Kermit the Frog things. I had his doll. I had the hi ho, I'm Kermit the Frog. Yay! I'm a wacko. Just accept it, okay? Just accept the wackoness. I prefer Robin. Robin who? Robin from Batman? Robin. I like Fozzie the Bear because he tells stupid bad jokes, and I love stupid bad jokes. All right, what is today? 9/6/25. There you go. It is officially in the folder. Feel free. There are also exercises in there. Kermit's nephew. Oh, that's funny. Halfway up the stairs kills me. I feel you there. I look at the stairs and I think maybe I could just pee in a jar. Do I have to go up there? My grandson likes the Swedish. Oh, animal. How can you not like Animal? You know what I'm saying? He's adorable. Derby. Anyway. All right, there we go. We can close that. We can close this. I feel good. We did good today. I don't know if you heard my question earlier, Flowers. I was just asking, are you enjoying the tiers on the Patreon that you get from the downloads and everything like that? Deep pronies and they go poof. Deep pronies and they go poof. Phenomenon. Phenomenon. Boop, boop, boop. Phenomenon. I think if you don't like the Muppets, you don't have a soul. You know what I'm saying? All right, please subscribe and hit that bell icon if you have not so far. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm glad you're enjoying it then. Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, there's downloads. There's free downloads on the tiers. There's checklists. There's quick lessons. There's also, since you have both of them, you get the long lessons too. There are long lessons. They're written out though, so you have to read. But there are also videos. So I do videos, I do downloads, and I do written stuff on there. So it's a plethora of goodness. I need to catch up on a few things there. Well, just so you know, Flowers, I know you made comment. I don't remember when, but you were saying you were going to jump ship from the YouTube and then join the Scribe. And just so you know, if you do that, you also still maintain the first and second tiers. So if you join the Scribe, you will also get the other two tiers. So you will get to continue to get those tiers. And by the way, I won't be offended if you leave the YouTube membership and just go over to the Scribe, because A, you're getting a lot more over there in the Scribe. You're getting education, and it's much more supportive. So fabulous. Yeah, I won't be like, why did you give it? No. I understand. It's $5 over here on the YouTube. It's 15. Just don't worry about keeping your YouTube membership. Just jump over there. Just jump over there, and you'll be filled with love and support. Yeah, that's about it. And I was waiting for M to get on here because M is actually a part of the Scribe, and he's had at least the prologue to look at, and I wanted to get code. I gotta go outside now. I wanted to be like, yo, M, what are your thoughts on the experience of reading the Zero draft, extended draft, first, third, Zero, first, and third? I wanted to know. Maybe tomorrow M will be on. M's a good guy. All right, I guess that's everything. What's tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow we were going to continue the series, Write a Book with Me from Concept to Completion. We are on episode 35. If you don't know what that's about, I basically write, well, not basically, I actually write on the screen. I show you behind the scenes, literally on the screen, and you get to watch how a book is created. We are currently working on Zero drafts. We're flying through the third act now. But I also talk through the process, so you get to hear the mechanics behind it all. So it's a lot of fun. Yes, I saw M there the other day. I will arrange it. Love and light to you, my friend. Love and light. Always. I almost have the conflict of Papa 26 down. I should finish that tomorrow. Excellent. Please keep me in the know with that. You know, I'm rooting for you. I want you to support that. And remember, flowers. You could send me a chapter or two. I'll give it a look over and just give you a friendly notes. But just if you feel comfortable with that, because I'm here to help. I'm proud of you. I love seeing you getting through this, and I like that you're using the 27 plot point outline. I'm glad it's helping you. I'm glad it's guiding you and getting you to go into. I'm going to wait until I finish the first splurge. I figured because you might finish it and then be like, let me go back and do some cleanups. Like, let me add some stuff. Let me adjust stuff. Let me give him a guitar. I get it. Why is not every character eating pizza at all times on every page? I understand. There's things you have to add, So just as long as they don't have pineapple, because vampires are notorious for hating both the sunlight and pineapples. They're like on the same, even though pineapples are good for the juice, and also it's if you're a swinger, pineapples up or pineapples down tell you a lot about it. We're open or we're closed is all I'm saying. Not that I am a swinger. I'm polyamorous, but I am not a swinger. I believe in relationships, committed relationships of connecting with other people. Doesn't matter. That's not why you're here. You're here for writing advice. Oh, I got another. So if anyone doesn't know, I have this book out, right? I got another review. I'm so happy about the reviews. I'm so grateful people are taking their time to write reviews. But I've been getting positive reviews, so really that's the way to go. Ooh, yeah. A swinging pineapple, and now there's a thing. The swinging pineapple, let's be honest, you got to watch out, because sometimes they don't like to see they don't watch where they're going. They just swing the pineapple, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that was here. You're like, I just came for the ladies, and they're just like, keep that pineapple away from me. It's like, it just hits you. It just keeps going by. Why is everyone hitting me? It's a painful image. It is. It's very painful. I'm like, is this an Italian buffet? Why is there so many sausages? What's going on? Did I enter the wrong party? What's going on? Came for the melons, the muffins, and the food. I'm talking about food, people. I eat. I'm fat, all right? 200 pounds. I eat. I gotta keep my weenus hard as bone. See, I've been working out. See my weenus? My elbow's as hard as bone. You could tell. All right. No pineapples were hurt in the writing of this book. Oh my God. Please tell me you're going to put that at the front of your book. Like where like you would have like this book is dedicated to like just or even like in the where you have the front stuff, the where it's like this is the I don't know if you guys do the ISBN, but You know, where it's like copyright. Then at the very end, no pineapples were hurt in the making of this one. That'd be very funny. It'd be like a little inside joke. It'd be like, you know, when watching Naked Gun, and you get to watch the credits. Oh, by the way, I saw Naked Gun. Excellent movie for the times. Excellent movie for nowadays. It's not what Naked Gun. You know, like I get it. We're in a different time. Technology, CGI, but it was very good. I saw yours about the eating of pizzas. Me? What did I write? What did I write about pizza? I forget what I wrote. It's definitely something about pizza. That's the thing. Anything you buy from me is gonna have some sort of humor in it, some sort of joke. As a quick aside, no monkeys were hurt during the making of this book. However, I did take a lot of naps, and there may or may not have been some pizza eaten. That's funny. That's funny. Whoever wrote this is crazy. It's in the that's I dedicated it to my pop. If you notice, I was writing it while my pop was there. I wouldn't usually read that, but for some reason I couldn't skip it. That's how engaging the book is, you know? You're just like, what's next? What's next? There are no other jokes in that piece, is there? I know I added, there's like a play on some words. I definitely, all right, no part of the publication may be stored. That part I think is real, but the next one, I have one that's gonna be funny for the next one. It's gonna be filled with some ridiculousness in it, but I'm glad you read it. I'm glad you're reading the book, and I know. Keep in mind, it's very blunt. Very blunt. All right, let's see. Before we go, let's see who the top chats are. Top fans. What do we got? We got Flowers #1, excellent. Afghani #2. He's vanishing. He hasn't said a thing for like 8 minutes. What's going on? What's going on, Afghani? 8 minutes. It's almost been 20. Hannah Hart is #3. Then we got Angel Faye. Angel Faye. Lexi Price, #5. And Ash. Ash was up there for a second or two. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. All right. Other than that, I guess we're good. I guess I'm going to, I got to start my laundry. And then I got to do my prep meals. I got to start cooking food. Apparently, I have to change my diet. But anyway, whatever. We'll get there. All right. With that said, I guess we're done. So remember to please go to makearightleft.com. You can find everything you need to know on me, Thomas J. Bellezza, where you can see me perform, talk, sign books, whatever the case is. But you could also read everything you need to know on my books. You can see the progression of books and when books will be available. There are 2 available books currently on the website, but more importantly, there is the 3rd book, which is The Death of the King. Death of a King, but that is only available as a through the Patreon tier currently. This book will be done by the end of the year. I'm saying that confidently, but you know, it might be January, February. But I am flying through that book. I am having a blast writing on it. See everyone tomorrow. And with that, by the way, take care. As always, keep developing the right mindset. Bye!